A video that was just released and dubbed Message to Muslim included Jordan Peterson. The way in which Muslims are addressed in the video is condescending, which goes against the established norms for their faith. Some individuals have the preconceived notion that the film is full of false information and misunderstandings of what Islam and Muslim culture are all about. Our focus in today's video will be on the manner in which Jordan Peterson tarnished his reputation in the eyes of Muslims. Let's dig into the road of Jordan until he tarnished his image with Muslims. Jordan has a long profile as a Canadian psychologist. He was recently titled the custodian of the patriarchy in the New York Times. The name suited his character in the society since he liked moving his concentration in the gender roles, though he recently went beyond in criticizing the Muslim society. Jordan Peterson, a well-known Canadian scholar and human algorithm, released a contentious video message to Muslims on YouTube on July 13th. The film was made by his new company, The Daily Wire, and it sparked a lot of controversy. Within a span of only 2 days, it has amassed close to 2 million views, despite drawing severe backlash due to the nature of the information it contains. Few significant characters in the media have remarked on his plainly stated goal, despite the fact that many major media personalities have taken personal issue with the crude generalizations about Muslims that were presented in the film. The explanation is presented in a straightforward manner in the video's caption, which reads as follows. In the wake of the Abraham Accords, Dr. Jordan B. Peterson suggests that the Muslim community can set a historical example by reaching across the aisle and making contact with whom they regard as the enemy. To individualize macro issues, as is his signature style, he harshly reprimands Muslims, imploring them to take inspiration from the Israeli normalization vehicle, the Abraham Accords, and embrace other groups of people. This is in keeping with his signature style of using micro issues to address macro issues in the guise of religious tolerance. This might be seen as an effort to garner support for the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians and the submission of regional governments to the will of Israel. Moving on, who is responsible for the production of Jordan's message? The video message that Peterson sent to Muslims was created by the news organization known as The Daily Wire. John Lewis, the company's chief operating officer, served as an intelligence analyst in the United States Marine Corps for many years. Wesley Schmidt, who works in customer service analytics for the company, is a former intelligence officer for the United States military. Ben Shapiro, the creator of The Daily Wire and a personal friend of Jordan Peterson, is also a strong candidate to have participated in the production of the film. On the exact same day that Jordan Peterson's message to Muslims that was inspired by the Abraham Accords was made public, Ben Shapiro broadcast an interview that he had conducted with Ariel Lightstone, the United States Special Envoy for Economic Normalization, on his own podcast for The Daily Wire. On the website of the United States Department of State, it is stated that one of Lightstone's responsibilities is to promote U.S. interests in normalizing commercial relations between Israel and the UAE, Bahrain, Sudan, Kosovo, and Morocco. According to the Jerusalem Post, Lightstone played an instrumental role in the big strategic moves that have taken place along the U.S.-Israel axis, particularly the series of normalization and peace deals that have come about in recent months. Following that, the Abraham Accords. The Daily Wire has run a number of puff articles on the Abraham Accords, including 2 interviews with then Secretary of State Mike Pompeo for Ben Shapiro's podcast. Both of these conversations were transcribed and advertised on the U.S. State Department's website. Peterson seems to have been a part of the larger effort to promote the Abraham Accord, whether intentionally or unintentionally. The issue is if the impetus came from the U.S. side. What about the Israelis? Or maybe both. Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring, the Daily Wire's creators, have both worked for organizations with extensive ties to Israeli military and intelligence establishments. Ben Shapiro earlier said on Twitter, Israelis want to build. Arabs like bombing garbage and living in open sewage. He included the hashtag #SettlementsRock in his tweet. Shapiro was a Shillman Fellow at the David Horowitz Freedom Center before launching the Daily Wire. Robert Shillman actively sponsored his job while also being on the board of the Friends of the IDF and sending millions of dollars into the Zionist Organization of America and other important settlement construction organizations. Jeremy Boring was essential in the development of Dennis Prager's Prager University idea. Boring created the site's unique visual design, according to PragerU co-founder Alan Estrin. Marissa Straight, the organization's CEO, is a former operative of the famed Israeli military intelligence unit 8200 500. Straight is also the head of operations for the Israeli-American Council, and in a PragerU interview, he bragged about working for Israeli intelligence. Next up, the possibilities that lie ahead for Israeli and Saudi relations. The establishment of friendly ties between the State of Israel and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is in the works. An historic agreement that was brokered by the United States under the leadership of President Joe Biden might soon see historic tensions alleviated, bringing an end to over 80 years of hostility. The agreement is going to be negotiated at a time when the dynamics in the region are shifting, at a time when peace and security are complicated by rising security concerns over Iran's military activity, coupled with the country's pursuit of nuclear weaponry. The agreement is going to be negotiated at a time when the dynamics in the region are shifting. After restoring diplomatic ties with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Israel now has a major and influential leading force in the Arab and Islamic world. Saudi Arabia is a major international oil producer with great sway over the Gulf Cooperation Council, the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and the Arab League. It is also the guardian of the two holiest places in Islam, the mosques in Mecca and Medina. Over the course of many decades, Saudi Arabia and the vast majority of the Arab world have maintained their stance of opposition to Israel's existence. This hostility may be traced back to the Jewish nature of the state, as well as its treatment of Palestinians. Moving on, what do we know about Saudi Arabia and Palestine regarding the anti-Israel movement? Since King Ibn Saud declared jihad in 1948, Saudi Arabia has been a major supporter of the anti-Israel campaign, supplying weapons, money, and encouraging anti-Israel sentiment across the world. For many years, the principal beneficiaries of this backing were Palestinian terrorists and Arab nations involved in different wars of aggression against the new state. This firmly ingrained an anti-Israel attitude that lasted till the 21st century. Peace between Israel and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has always been conditional on the Palestinian problem, namely the admission of a Palestinian state. This key demand has long prevented Israel from pursuing peace overtures with the kingdom. So far, Israeli negotiators have failed in every endeavor. The Saudi government's staunch position on Palestine, however, is altering in response to new political circumstances. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman's disillusionment with the Palestinian Authority (PA) and rising anxiety over a stronger Iran are opening the way to secret conversations with Israel. Benjamin Netanyahu's presidency cleared the stage for a new Arab-Israeli normalization initiative under the framework of the Abraham Accords. One of the most significant achievements of the agreements has been the decoupling of Arab-Israeli normalization from the Palestinian conflict. Peace between Arabs and Jews is no longer dependent on the Palestinian peace proposal. Arab governments who have always opposed any peace movement with Israel are suddenly putting aside their disputes in exchange for economic opportunity, military collaboration, and a reset of ties. Finally, let's look at what Jordan has to say to his Muslim fans. Jordan Peterson addressed his Muslim audience in a recent YouTube video, urging Muslims to reach across sectarian divide and stop viewing Christians and Jews as your foes. In a 6.5-minute video, Peterson, who is now 60, welcomed many of his new Muslim followers. The hardline professor seems to have established a following among Muslims. In an effort to make a good first impression on his new followers, Peterson preached to his Muslim followers about the need of respecting people of other religions, such as Shia and Sunnis. The Canadian-born researcher recommended Sunnis to find a Shia pen partner and Shias to find a Sunni pen pal. He also questioned about the potential of someone in the Muslim world inventing an electronic mechanism to let the two groups communicate. Peterson is well known for his conservative views on a wide range of issues, including politics, religion, and cultural standards. Peterson's Twitter account was suspended for further inquiry after he made transphobic statements against Elliot Page a month ago. Muslims, reach across sectarian lines, Peterson can be heard urging in the footage. Reach out to a Christian or, God forbid, a Jew, because maybe it's time for individuals who claim to be followers of God to act like it. Well, what do you think about Jordan's view on Muslims? Leave a comment. That's the end of our video today. Hit the subscribe button on your way out. Thanks for watching.